Okay, so what we've got here is an example of what not to do in ruts. I'm going to play the whole clip first and talk through what's happening. Okay, so let's go through from the start, and we have here a situation where we're coming down a hill. It's not a particularly steep hill, but it is quite wet, and that means it's slippery. There are also ruts in the track, and ruts are generally what you want to use, particularly when you're coming downhill and it's slippery. The reason is because once your wheels are in those ruts, then your vehicle will tend to tramline along and not slide sideways. And that's got to be a good thing, because if you slide sideways, then you have a risk of potentially getting yourself bogged, sliding off the track where there's likely to be trees, potentially cliffs, embankments, who knows. So it's a good idea to tramline yourself in the ruts, as I'm doing here. When you descend a slippery hill, typically you want to be using low range, probably first, maybe second low, or hill descent control these days does a very good job as well. So that's what we're doing, just coming along here, first or second low, and all is looking good. But then, if you see what I do next, and that is actually start to turn the steering wheel quite a bit. There it goes. Now what I've done there is I've turned the steering wheel full lock to the right, and you'll notice that the car continues to track straight ahead, like so. And the reason is because there's simply not enough grip for the tyres to be able to turn the vehicle right. Not unusual at all when the car's in ruts. Now that's bad for a couple of different reasons. First of all, it takes a lot more engine power to push the car along when the wheels are turned that far. It can erode the track, and you run a risk of the tyre coming off the wheel, particularly because you're probably running reduced tyre pressures, aired down a bit. But the worst reason to do it is because if you continue like that, at some point your wheels are likely to regain grip, and therefore the car will just jump out of the ruts, as you see it does in a moment. So how do you solve that? Well, the answer is that you've just got to know at all times where your front wheels are pointed, and that means using the right steering techniques, and I'll link to the steering technique video now, and ensuring that even if you've got what appears to be a straight steering wheel, that it's actually straight and is not a complete turn of lock on. Again, even if you are tracking where you want to be, could well be that you could be surprised by it. And if you're trying to get along a rut with difficulty, then having a lot more lock on than you need is just going to slow the car down and actually reduce your progress. So here's what happens when the vehicle actually gets enough grip. Let's look at the front of the car now. You can see there, that's where the track starts to even out a bit, starts to get flatter, and then there's a bit less of a rut, and that's when suddenly the car can grip again. Now a couple of things happen there. You see how quickly it just jumped out to one side there, and I was able to jump on the brakes. Even as I jumped on the brakes, the car skidded round a bit, but I was expecting that. Now if you're driving along and you've got no idea that you have turned the steering wheel a long way, are you going to be able to react quickly enough in time? And even if you do, are you going to be able to get the steering wheel back to centre again? So again, it just highlights the real importance of using the right steering wheel technique, and also knowing at all times where your steering wheels are pointed, because that is in this case a pretty benign just bit of push, but it could be anything there. You go off the track and then you could be in for a very, very long recovery. So that's the point of this tip. Know at all points where your steering wheels are pointed, use the right steering techniques, and then you'll be able to descend ruts more safely than you otherwise would have been able to.